Hi there, this is David Ingleby for Dingo servo mounts, and I want to introduce you to a new little daughter board we've got for our twin servo boards, and this one is a DCC accessory decoder, and it will decode 2 channels, and I'll show you in a moment how it all sets up and goes to work. Let's just go through what's on the board at the moment. I have a twin red servo controller board. I have the new DCC accessory decoder board connected with the 3 pins in over there. I have 2 servos set up in micro 10 mounts, and I have a 12 volt DC supply coming in here, and I have my NCE power cab connected on this side, and that is the DCC wiring coming in there, and that's the power supply for the power cab. Now I'm going to just zoom in a little bit here. Right, first of all, to say there's your connections. There are 3 little pins will come with the kit with this board. You need to take them out of the little black plastic things that hold them, and then they just go across between the 2 blocks like that. And then on the top of the board here you've got your 2 servos. This will be servo 1, so in other words that'll be on the first DCC address you give it, and this is servo 2 on the second thing. And we always connect these up with the dark, either black or dark brown wire to the outside of the board. And then over here you have your 12 volt DC supply coming in, which is coordinated in such a way that the black marked pin over there will be the negative and the insider one will be the positive. And then the same over here. If you have a look at this connector here, you will see that the center pin is marked as black, which means that that's the ground pin. It was internally connected to the ground pin over there. Right, so now let's zoom out again and get this little lot to work. So the first thing we have to do is we have to program the board. I haven't yet set up my servos. I will do that later. They are set central at the moment, and I'm not going to set them up for a moment. So first of all, let's program the decoder. So the first thing to do is to push the setting pin over there. When I do that, the little white or yellow light there will flash twice. Once it's done that, I can then set the decoder address. So what I do on my handset is I select accessory decoder, and I give it the first address that I want to set. So it's asking me for the address number, and I type in 10, which is what I want to do, and enter, and then I hit a 1. You will notice that the white light flashes once more to tell me that it's got that address. Now what I've done is I've set address 1 on this board to number 10, or address 10, and it will automatically set address 11, sorry, to pin 2. So I now have number 10 and number 11 programmed on this board. Now what I need to do is I need to set the servos up before we go any further. So at the moment all the lights are off, so I can then put my board, let's say we start with the green one, and I set that into set mode. The green light flashes twice, and I can now set my point to where I want it to be at that position. When I'm happy with it, I can click it off. I'll do the same with the second servo. Flashes twice the red light, and I set it in again to where I want it to be. When I'm happy with it, put it back to there. So, right, now put that back in the middle. Now what I need to do is I need to set this board to the opposite direction. So first of all, I will set on my, I'll go to accessory, number 10, enter, and I will now program that to number 2, and the light flashes once, and the green light is now on. The green light is actually driving the green board on this board. So I then put this onto there, and now I set the other side of my green board, setting it to there, and I set it off. So now if I can move this out the way, now if I call up accessory 10 again and go to 10, enter, and now go to 1, it will move to the other side I set it. Accessory 10, enter, and do a 2, the light comes on and it moves to the other side. Right, so that one is set. Now let's set the second one. So I go accessory, now I want number 11, and enter, and I want to set that one to normal, so I press 1, and sorry, I had to do that, 2. Let's try that again, to 11, sorry, I need to set it to 2, don't I? Yes. Enter 2. Set it off, which is actually on. And now I can move that to the red position, and I can now set my red servo to the other position I want it to be. I can check that by selecting the accessory again, going to 1. You get a double flash with the second channel, a single flash with the first channel. Accessory again, enter 2, and there she goes. Now, one limitation of this board is that while it's busy doing one particular job, you can't tell it to do something else because it will just ignore that command. So now we have both set, so I can go select the accessory 11, enter, take it to 1, double flash, and it moves the servo, and I can set number 10 the same way, 1 flash, and it moves the servo. So that's the simplicity of setting it up. I no longer need my setting box, so that can come out, and the board is all set. And even if I should change, let's change one of the servos on accessory, for argument's sake, 10, and we'll do a 2. So we've got one on and one off. Now should the power be disabled, and power is disabled by pulling that out and plug it back in again. The moment the board comes up, it will be in exactly the same position. If I unplug this board, plug it back in, it will go back to the same position again. That little jump is what sometimes happens if your power supply is not strong enough. It might just dip a little bit and then it will reset to the center and go back to where you set it. At the moment I'm using a very tiny little power supply there. It's only 500 milliamps. It's enough to move the servo, but I certainly wouldn't suggest using that on a full installation. We do sell a nice power supply which is, we rate at 3 amps. The label on the power supply says 4 amps, but we're quite happy to say it's a 3 amp supply and more than enough to cope with 4 or 5 boards quite happily. Now once you've got everything set up, the last thing to do is then to put on your switches. The switches are made up with the little back plate on. You need to make one left hand and one right hand if you're going to set up both switches. And once you've now got that in the right position, let's move it to the other side. Accessory 10. We want to move it to the other side. No, that's the other way. Sorry, I'm not really good at DCC, to be quite honest, but there you go. Okay, that's the side where the switch would be. And once we've now got that up, I can then slide the switch onto the backing board, if I can get it there. And with my little screwdriver, it doesn't look right. There we go. I can then slide it up until it just operates. And there we go. Don't put the switches on until such time as you've got everything set up, because you may then override the switches and it could cause some problems. So now if I go select accessory number 10 and go the other way, it'll open the switch, select accessory number 10, close it to normal, and there the switch closes. And that's how simple it is to set it all up and to operate it. And once it's all up and running, it should give you hours of very happy modelling and changing your points exactly as you want them changed. This is David Ingleby for Dingo Servo Mounts, and thank you so much for watching.